In all honesty, this figure was the one I was looking forward to the most. Not only because he was my absolute favorite character in the show, but because this body sculpt is truly the best muscle build body that Tamashii Nations has put out in their SH Figure Arts series. So, let's get started. You guys like that new intro? It took me less than 5 seconds to come up with it, so do what you will with that information. We've got our boy, Todo, in hand, and he looks great. Starting off with the likeness, Todo looks amazing. The man bun, the shoes, the pants, the faces, the musculature, everything is all here with just minor exceptions. The skin tone on his faces are definitely a lot lighter than the rest of his body, and this seems to be an occurrence with every Todo figure. It's not just my copy. The shading on this figure is some of the best that Tamashii has put out. It stands out from every other muscle body we've had on any figure. It's that impressive. Now, this is where you're either with me or you're not. I can understand either way. It might be a surprise to some of you, but a good chunk of the art in JJK was rushed due to time constraints. This means facial expressions, fights, movements, and more are not as smooth and concise as they should have been. This translates especially into Todo's faces and body sculpt. There's moments in the show where Todo looks drastically different, especially in Season 2. The big point that I'm trying to make here is that Tamashii produced a more accurate Todo than the show itself. The faces are more consistent, body sculpt is more in line to what he should have been drawn like, and then the interpretation into figure form was solid. It's not without its flaws, however. Like I mentioned, the skin tone is drastically paler on the faces. The white belt-like piece here should be smaller, and I think his bottom torso should be raised a bit higher by just a smidge. But that could also just have been the white belt piece being too big. Let me know if you guys are understanding my point of view about the likeness and how this Todo is way more accurate to his appearance than what the anime shows. With all of that said, he easily gets a 0.9 out of 1 point here for likeness. On to the accessories. This man barely touched any weapons and simply relied on his brutal strength and cursed energy. He of course comes with things that make his character, such as his locket necklace, iconic faces that he makes throughout the first season, and a good array of interchangeable hands that he requires for his boogie woogie technique. His hard album cover pose with Yuji, fists for punching Megumi, and other style expressive hands. Oh, and one to hold his necklace, of course. Oh yeah, and he also comes with his crossed arms accessory, which is one of the more easier ones to connect, but it still doesn't perfectly attach. There's always that one side that... Oh. Well, wait a minute. Wait. No. It actually fits. Perfect. As I was writing this, and I swear, it was not so easy the first time trying to get this on, but especially on the left side. But then I tried connecting the left side first, and then the right, and that actually worked. So, definitely swap sides if one gives you trouble. Then honestly, the only one problem I have is just the faces and the skin tone on them, because they connected perfectly to the head. It's just that he looks so pale in some of them, and then his two semi-neutral faces look way too similar. He has other iconic faces they could have pulled from, so that's definitely a bust. But because I already marked down the skin tone problem in the previous section, he gets a 0.9 here as well, simply because his faces could have used more expression and be more unique to one another. Range of motion. I sadly have to give this guy a 0.8 even though he's great at most movement. Let's start at where he's great at. Double jointed arms are great. Butterfly could be a little better, but they prioritized a more clean look, compared to legendary Super Saiyan Goku, who just seems so boxy, and his cuts aren't exactly clean, but look at his range. His butterfly is amazing compared to Todo's, so I think they did pretty good with Todo, but honestly, it could have been just a tad better. His diaphragm joint and lower torso moves are amazing. No problem here. A good ab crunch and lean back. The white belt thing should have seriously been smaller or been a soft plastic, because his legs should be able to reach higher. With that in mind, his legs still get more than decent range, and The way the back of his leg is molded, the sculpted butt only gets in the way after moving his leg back this much. The feet are perfectly fine as well. Up and down, very good. Ankle rocker is excellent. Toe hinge is fine. He can hit the sideways split, so that's a plus. The other thing dropping his score would be his poor range of movement for his head. His neck does help him out a lot, but the design for the head movement alone kind of flopped. You see other figures in the Naruto line do way better, and they have longer hair than Todo, so that doesn't make too much sense. He can give some good attitude though, so it's not a failure by any means. Alright, hey, we've made it to the price section. This guy again makes out to be around the same price as Gojo, so roughly $60 to $80, depending on how and where you get him. I honestly can say this guy gets a 0 point here as well, a 0.8, sorry. His muscle shading seriously carries the figure. No other JJK shirtless figure comes close. I'm looking at you, Sukuna. You can honestly use this body as a template for lots of other figures. It's that good, and I will say, I went into the store and manually picked out the best one that had the best shading. Some others either barely had it, or the shading of the six-pack was just wrong. It barely even looked like he had a six-pack. So it was going to be noticeable. And I guess that's kind of a flex on my part. If you notice other people posting him, their shading is probably not going to be as good as my copy. Because I spent 20 minutes analyzing every single copy in that store. Now, mine's not perfect either. I think on some face plates, his eyes and eyebrows should be just a smidge lower, because on some of them, it's like his eyes are way too close to the top of the eye socket of the human skull. It's honestly a pretty fair score since, yeah, the shading is top-notch, but a few QC issues like lack of shading, pale face plates, and face misprints keep him from being perfect. I also believe that he should have come with a Boogie Woogie curse effect, or honestly just give us a Black Flash effect, or just another Yuji Itadori curse power fist effect. Anything would have been good. So now, does this man warrant a badass seal of approval? Drum roll, please. And that's a yes! A major yes! He's so fun to pose, he looks great, he has a wide variety of hands, and you honestly can't have a JJK collection without his best friendo. Yuji needs his best friend, so then the final score for Aoi Todo is going to be a 4.4 out of 5. While he is a fantastic figure, a sale on this guy definitely wouldn't hurt. I think at around $60, he's very much worth it. $86 is when it starts to teeter on that line of like, you need him, but there's just a bit missing, and possible QC issues. So, well, that's Todo, and if you've watched this long, I'll let you viewers in on a little secret. I'm going to finally launch my first giveaway. Full details will be on my Instagram, @FigureBabylon, shameless plug. So definitely follow me there so you can get a first chance at getting a cool figure. Thank you guys so much for the genuine questions and comments. I really do appreciate communicating with people that just love these hunks of plastic just like myself. Thanks for watching, keep collecting, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.